Hello, everyone. This is Whitney from Astrology, and I'm here to talk about the new moon in Libra, which takes place on Friday, October 16th. So I've sat down a few times this week to record this video, and I can't. And I keep stopping because I can't figure out the right way to spin it. Because this lunation is just tough. It's just a tough new moon. It's not like a fun new beginning of something. The planetary alignments that are up against this one are truly difficult. And I was trying to think of a way to kind of spin it and think about what it could be used for. That is maybe unconventional, but might be useful, and I really can't come up with anything. And how hard I was working at trying to find a good way to spin it really reminded me of the feeling that I get when I look at the chart of this new moon and some of the dynamics that are there. It's a lot of hard work, and and it's questionable whether it's worth it. So that said, why are we here? Well, the new moons are the beginning of something. They symbolize the opening of the new cycle of the lunar month, but also kind of a new cycle for whichever house they take place in. So that's wherever Libra falls in your chart. I use whole sign houses, so that is the whole house. But for those of you who don't, it's 23 degrees of Libra, almost 24 degrees that this new moon takes place at. So, so it's not a kind of conventional kind of new beginning, but understanding that struggle is part of the storyline, and that struggle is definitely part of the storyline of this new beginning, helps us kind of set up tasks for ourselves or begin things that we know will be difficult, but difficult in the sense of developmental, that they will grow us in important ways that we need to grow. And that kind of brings me to the feeling that of reflecting on how Saturn is exalted in Libra. And I think when I reflect on that fact, it is because we most need Saturn when we want to deal judiciously with other people. When we want there to be some kind of equanimity in our dealings, and a sense of fairness. We need discipline. We need the ability to hold back some of our more Aries impulses in order to be fair with other people. And Saturn is also the planet that represents things that slowly develop. And so this moon is a really Saturn Libra flavor and not a very Venus Libra flavor. And so I'm gonna pull up the chart and we can pop in, and I will kind of illuminate some of these challenging dynamics that you might find, and we'll wade through them together. Okay, so here's the chart of the new moon. It's set from my location and my time. So I am in Mountain Standard Time, and the new moon takes place at around 1:30 p.m. on Friday, October 16th. Friday is the day that's ruled by Venus. So it's interesting that this new moon takes place there because it takes place in the sign of Libra, which is also ruled by Venus. But when we look at the chart to where Venus is, we find that no matter where you are in the world, Venus is in the sign of her fall in Virgo. And Virgo is the sign of Venus's fall because she can't do very Venus Venus-y things in Virgo. Venus wants comfort and safety, and Virgo is self-sacrificing, and even kind of can lean a little bit towards the mortification of the flesh. Venus in Libra wants to harmonize with equals, and Virgo can put itself below other people. I really think of Venus in Virgo as Cinderella pre the prince, and then that transition when Venus goes from Virgo into Libra is kind of Cinderella becoming a princess. When we're busy in Virgoan tasks, they're not that sensual. And so there can be a deprivation of kind of finding comfort really in Libra season, because for most of Libra season, for the first week we had Venus in Leo, which was okay. But for the rest of Libra season, we've had Venus in Virgo. And there's this real kind of deprivation of, even finding which kind of coping strategies work for you to deal with anxiety or deal with fears, or deal with anger too. I think Venus really helps us cope with our anger. So you may find that what usually works is not working, and that's doubly frustrated because we have Mars retrograde. And this Mars retrograde, if you look at the chart, Mars is opposite this new moon. So that's another one of the challenging aspects. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So we've got Venus that rules the day of the new moon and rules the lunation. And we see that Venus is moving into an opposition with Neptune. So not only is she in her fall, which makes it really difficult for her to do Venusian things, for her to harmonize in that way, but she's also moving into this opposition with Neptune, which can cloud the mind a little bit. That can mean being overly idealistic. It can mean being delusional about something, but really having the wool pulled over your eyes a little. And so when that separates, we can find that we've been deceived in some way. So that makes it really hard to make good decisions moving forward and understand what is truly at stake. Because what Venus cares about, which she feels what she cares about through the force of attraction, is getting a little bit diffused through the fog of Neptune. So that's something to watch out for. Kind of the next thing that's making this all problematic is that this new moon squares our Capricorn conglomerate, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn, and opposes Mars. So it's really tight in this cardinal T-square of all of these signs that they're cardinal signs. They want forward motion. They want to take action. They want to initiate new things. And yet they are in this gridlock with each other. And if you have Cancer placements, they're probably playing into this. So there's a little bit of that as well. So this lunation is challenged because just as it wants to separate, just as the seed wants to burst open in the earth and start moving towards the light, it has to deal with, a square to Saturn, which is going to be very limiting, and then opposing a retrograde Mars, which is very frustrated. So it kind of, it's kind of the thing that is being sacrificed or wounded in this Mars-Saturn square, Mars retrograde time. It's beginning, but it's beginning in one of the most afflicted ways possible, which is why I don't think, starting things that you want to move forward easily. This is like starting tasks that you want to be very, very difficult and fight for every inch would happen around this new moon. So it's not a new moon to do new moony things. Now, thirdly, we have in this chart Mercury, which just stationed retrograde a few days before this new moon, stationed retrograde on the 13th, opposing Uranus. It made an exact opposition on the 7th, and then it stations retrograde and makes another exact opposition on Sunday, the 18th, which is also the day that the Venus Neptune opposition becomes exact and the Saturn Sun square becomes exact. So this new moon starts and we're building towards all these very, very tense aspects. That Mercury Uranus opposition can lead to kind of explosive communication, sudden flashes of insight that really rock the boat. Mercury is in Scorpio, kind of delving deeper into secrets, into hidden things, and Uranus is the awakener and the revealer. And so when they get in this kind of dynamic, we can learn very shocking bits of news. We can communicate quite erratically, or other people around us can communicate quite erratically. That Mercury in Scorpio is ruled by that Mars that's retrograde in Aries. So, that Mercury in retrograde, trying to figure out, what we missed, what we need to learn moving forward, is ruled by a Mars that's very just struggling with what to do. And that Mars is approaching a square to Jupiter, which can have kind of large, brash actions, which are probably not going to work out for the best given the struggling state of Jupiter, but could be quite large actions. So I would lie low on this lunation. I would meditate on the ways in which you choose the hard road rather than the path of least resistance. Because that's really the theme of this. So if you can just kind of let this one move through you and let it be a space where you can practice not choosing the hard way, so that you don't have to fight for every inch, because we're all really tired right now from everything that's going on. And so I would give yourself the gift of not trying to create anything. Maybe just do nothing for a little bit with this lunation. I mean, you can still light candles, honor the renewal of the lunar month, but honor it through rest. And we'll see, when we come to the Libra full moon next spring, what has come to fruition from this new moon. So it might be interesting just to kind of notice what's going on. There's plenty of things that begin without our control on these new moons. It might be a good time to try to let go of old habits. The Mars and Saturn, right? If they're habits that are already really hard to break, and you're willing to do the work, you'll be held to doing the work. So that's another possibility. But I would be gentle and not think that this is a great new moon to reset yourself. The area that you reset is going to struggle and definitely go through some challenges and some exhaustion as we're moving forward. Then we'll move from this new moon in Libra to a full Taurus moon, which happens on Halloween. So another very exciting lunation. And that video will come out after my Scorpio season forecast. Hopefully in the next, when Scorpio season starts on October 22nd. Okay, I wish you all a sleepy, quiet new moon. Pay attention to your dreams. Don't push your conscious mind too hard. Take a rest, take a breather during the dark phase of the moon, and we'll see you as it gets brighter.